So welcome to another episode of Crazy Builds, and thank you for tuning in. In Crazy Builds, I'm going to create a competitive build against the other faction. And I will do this always spontaneous, so I have this little auto generator over here, and every faction available is listed in there. So if I click on this button over here, this auto generator will give me a faction at random. So I will do this. We can see I have Chaos. So we are going to create a build with Chaos. And we are going to create this build against the Dark Elves. So really cool matchup. So overall, I think the Dark Elves are the best. They are finally decided, or in my opinion, the Dark Elves are the best faction of the new game. And they are also have a lot of good matchups against all these old world factions. So Dark Elves are very strong. Maybe, I'm not 100% sure, but maybe the best race in the game actually. So everything on the Dark Elves have everything. They have also low tier infantry units, so can bring a good quantity of units with your army core. But you have also all these elite units over here. You have an anti-infantry unit with a lot of armor piercing. You have this Black God of Nagaron anti-large unit with a lot of armor piercing. You have damage dealers in there. You have all these missile infantry causing armor piercing missiles or armor piercing damage. You have a quite steady and good cavalry. So it is really strong. We have a good lord over here with Malekith. The other lords or Moratti is not really competitive, but Malekith is quite strong. So you have everything in here, and you have a lot of tools. And everything is quite steady, very heavily armored also. Even the low tier infantry units, of course, the bleak swords and the dread spears are not so heavily armored. But if you take a look on the Black Orc Corsairs, we can see they are very heavily armored, and these are damage killers. So very interesting. So let's start to create a build over here, and in my opinion, I would bring a Kolek against the Dark Elves. So it's very important to crush them quite fast, or to deal a lot of, or to cause a lot of damage, and especially we have a lot of armor piercing damage. So we have on Kolek's side 400 armor piercing damage. We have a bonus versus large. He's a monster. We have 540 weapon strength, and I would bring him against the Dark Elves. So we leave out Foe Seeker. We take stand or die on, of course, Lord of the Storm. Star Crusher, I will enable it this time, or for now, but we will see. If it's quite expensive, so I'm not 100% sure what I would enable it now. I would take no hero over here. I don't think it's quite efficient to bring a lot of magic against the. Well, of course, you can bring a Chaos Sorcerer with Law of Death, with Spirit Leech and stuff like that, but I would leave that out now. I will bring it. I will now go to the infantry. So now it's not so easy over here. So the Chaos Marauders get massacred really fast from Witch Elves and Black Orc Corsairs, and they will be in this build, and also of course from Hagen of Execution and all that stuff. So they will just perform quite okay against Bleak Swords. So in my opinion, you can leave these out completely. I would not bring any Chaos Marauders at all. I would bring a lot of Chaos Warriors with great weapons. These guys are really very cost efficient. For 850 credits you get a huge weapon strength, quite good melee stats, and a very good amount of armor piercing. So I would bring a lot of them. Then I would bring, or let's do this, let's bring some Chosen. So I would bring two groups of Chosen over here. But now we have a very small amount of units, so fill everything up. Not sure, as I said, the most units of the Dark Elves are quite heavily armored, and you don't have to forget the Chaos player will always expect a really heavily armored build from the Chaos, because Chaos are also naturally heavily armored, and so he will bring a lot of heavy stuff like Hagen of Executioners and maybe Black Orc Corsairs or Black God of Nagaron. He will not bring too much Dread Spears and not too much bleak swords. I'm not sure about that. So I think also you have to bring a lot of heavy metal stuff over here, chosen with great weapons and chaos warriors. So in addition, I would bring, I'm not sure, I would bring a group of dragon ogres. So I think they can compete quite well against the death hag on these cauldron of blood, and also compete quite well against the war hydra, but also on the against the Malekith on a black dragon. So these guys, I would bring one group of them. And then, of course, it's quite important to have a little bit of mobility. But I think Chaos Warriors with Chaos Warhounds with poison are not a good pick, because you can kill, or the Dark Elves are really able to handle that. If you bring Dark Shards, you are fine with the Chaos Warhounds, I think. But if you have Dark Shards with shields, I'm not so sure. And if you bring Blackout Coursers with handbows, you are screwed. This is the problem. All these new missile infantry units with the self-defense over here, with all these spears and all these stuff, they are really strong, of course, also expensive. But the Chaos Warhounds, they will do nothing against them. So I'm not sure what against. Yeah, I'm not sure. I wouldn't bring them, I think. I would like to bring some Chaos Trolls, or at least. Also, one you can also bring. In my opinion, it's quite good. You bring a Feral Manticore and maybe some Chaos Sorcerer with Law of Death on the Manticore. This is also a good possibility, and also good, I think. Also, Siegwald is, in my opinion, a good pick, because you also have a huge amount of weapon strength. The armor piercing is quite okay, but he's not a large target. But I think Kolek should be in here. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think at least to flank a little bit, I would bring two Forsaken. They're causing not so much armor piercing, 14, but the weapon strength overall is huge. We have 58, nearly 60 weapon strength. That is incredible. The melee defense is quite zero over here, but they are, I think, the strongest damage dealers in the game. So we have a good melee attack, and also they are very heavily armored, and they are quite fast for of course for flanking the opponent. So I would bring two groups of Forsaken. And then, last but not least, I think a group of... so let's disable this, maybe a little bit more money. So I think a group of Chaos Marauders to increase a little bit the army, the quantity of units. Yeah, I think I would leave it like this. So I think you have a lot of, you have not so much tools in here, so you have a very heavy infantry corps, but you have a lot of good things to handle with against all large things. So you can, with your Dragon Ogre and your Kolek, you can kill everything, every large monster on the ground. The great Chaos Warriors with great weapon will compete very well against everything from from Blackout Coursers, Stress Spears, of course, and Bleak Swords. The Haganeth Executioner should be able to kill a unit of Chaos Warriors. Of course, they will kill a unit, but he cannot bring too much of them. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 over here, and then you have in addition two groups of Chosen also. So a group of Chosen, I'm pretty sure that a group of Chosen can kill a group of Haganeth Executioners. So you should be fine over here. And if we take up, let's try this over here. Disable everything. Let's make a short test. So if we bring how much Haganeth Executioners he's able to bring, or at least to compete a little bit. Let's do 2 Dark Shards over here. And yeah, I'm not sure what would he bring. Dread Spears, of course, 2 groups, and he would bring Witch Elves, I think, something like that. That is quite dangerous. So we have 5 groups of Haganeth Executioners over here, and we have over here 4 of Chaos Warriors with great weapons, so he can take them out, but he will also get killed. So yeah, this is not a good thing, I see. So he will outnumber us. So he's able to outnumber us with the Hagen of Executioners. So that is not a good thing. If I leave everything out and bring just Chosen, it's also not good. So you have no mobility, and you can bring just 4 Chosen over here. So this is not good. So maybe another group of Great Chaos Warriors with great weapons, and one group of Chosen, and then one group of Chaos Marauders. I think here you should be fine with this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of Chaos Warriors, 2 groups of Chosen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 infantry groups over here, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this case you should be able to compete against him. So because now you outnumber him with the heavy stuff. Of course we have Witch Elves over here and Dread Spears, but I'm pretty sure that the Forsaken should be able to kill a group of Witch Elves. And also we have these Chaos Marauders and still a Kolek. So I think this is quite competitive. I would bring this. It is quite easy. You have not so much tools. You have not so much mobility, of course not. But you have to compete, or you have to outnumber the Haganif Executioners over here. So I think it's very important to bring a lot of these armor-piercing stuff. And their Chaos Warriors are really designed to do this. You have very cheap mid-range infantry unit, and they can compete quite well against the Haganif Executioners, even if they are not able to take them out or to kill them. But then we have 2 Chosen with great weapon over here, and as I said, an additional group of Chaos Warriors with great weapon and a group of Forsaken. And you have still the Kolek Sun Eater. But overall, I think the Dark Elves are in favor in this matchup. So the Dark Elves are really able to handle it with Chaos. So in my opinion, actually the Dark Elves are the best faction in the game, because they're performing quite well against everything. So, but I'm not sure. It's very early since Mortal Empire, so we will see. So I also think, or if there are any questions where I'm not bringing any giants. So a giant is, in my opinion, a very bad pick against the Dark Elves. So you can make some tests by your own. So if the Dark Shards, 2 groups of Dark Shards, focus fire on a giant, he will go down in seconds. You can make tests. Within 1 minute, a giant is dead. And also the Black God of Naggarond. These guys will kill a giant. I saw that. I made some tests. These guys can kill a giant within a minute. So this is quite incredible. So a giant is not a good pick, as the giant is also quite slow. You cannot run away and stuff like that. You will get always killed. So more competitive is to bring out additional Dragon Ogre Shagget, but then you get outnumbered on the infantry stuff. So this is the problem. You have to bring these heavy metal infantry, and then you cannot bring any of these guys and trolls and stuff like that. So I think the best way to play it is to outnumber him, and to outnumber him in the heavy stuff with the infantry corps. So thank you for watching this episode, and hope to see you on the next Crazy Build episode, and let me know what you think, and yeah, see you next time. Goodbye.